All right, in order to pick this up, you want to grab this handle right here, then pull it up on your knee and then swing it around on your backpack like that. And that's how you don't wear out these straps on your backpack. Remember guys, whatever you bring in with you, make sure you take it out with you. All right, anytime you're walking through the woods, you want to keep an eye out for certain things, okay? Like in this instance, right down here in South Mississippi, we have what's called American beautyberry. Now the leaves, if you saw me rubbing this on my arms, the leaves keep the mosquitoes and the biting flies away. The berries are edible, and this stuff is just like a natural insect repellent. So you always want to be able to get something off the landscape and use it naturally if you can. All right, right here we have some pine straw off of a dead pine branch that fell down. We're always wanting to think about starting our fire. So it's been raining a little while. This stuff is dry. Anytime you have something up off the ground, it's going to be drier than stuff on the ground. So you want to go ahead and collect this, put it in your pocket. That's why you got cargo pockets on your pants, and you can use this to start a fire whenever you get to your camp spot. All right. All right, I guess we'll stop here and get us some water on the way to find us a camp spot. Now remember how I said keep your stuff on the top? That's why. We can filter our water now. And what we're going to do is we're going to collect a bag full of dirty water. It's a little bit easier to take our metal water bottle and fill it up first. And then pour it into here. Because we're going to boil the water in the metal water bottle anyway. All right, there we go. We got a couple more to go. Now we got us about 1.5 gallons of dirty water. All we got to do is filter this once we get to our camp, and we're good to go for drinking water. We can also use this GRAYL water filter. Just take that out, fill this cup up with some dirty water. There's a fill line right there, 24 ounces. You just set it onto the ground. Open this lid up just a little bit. There's a little arrow. And then you just squeeze that puppy down. Now I had a little bit of clean water in here already. Now, there we go. All that dirty water is 100% ready to drink. It tastes clear, clean, and fresh. All the nasty's been taken out of it. Now we got drinking water for the trip. All right, let's continue on. All right, yes indeed. I think this is going to work. We got a tree here and we got a tree here. All right, so we have a tree here and a tree here. They're right off camera. They're about 12 to 14 feet apart, and there's no dead trees laying around that can fall on us in the middle of the night if the wind picks up. Those are called widow makers. You got to watch out for those whenever you get to a camping spot. But it's relatively clean in here. There's plenty of firewood laying around on the ground, and that's some of the things that you want to look for whenever you're doing a campsite. You want to make sure that you have plenty of firewood, you got a close proximity to water, and you don't want any widow makers falling on you in the middle of the night, any dead trees, anything like that. It's relatively clean. We got a lot of pine straw on the ground. We can use the pine straw to start a fire, but in this case it's wet, so remember how we collected the pine straw earlier? We're going to use that pine straw to start our fire, and we're only going to use our little cooking stove for a fire this evening. So let's get started setting up our shelter for the evening and get our camp all set up. And I'm going to show you how we hang a ridge line, and then we're going to hang our tarp over. We're going to do a lean-to type shelter. So let's get started. Let me show you what we're going to do first. So first of all, we're going to get our bank line out, and this is what we're going to use to make our ridge line on our tarp, and I'll show you how to do that in the next step. What we have here is our bank line. This is what we're going to use to go from tree to tree. This is going to create what's called a ridge line. Now for this ridge line, what we're going to do is we're going to loop it over just like so. Then we're going to fold it around and make an overhand loop knot. Now with that overhand loop knot, we're going to create a toggle, and that's how we're going to affix this thing to this tree on this side. What we're going to do is take this string that we put this overhand loop knot in, and then we're going to wrap it around the tree like that. Then we're going to pull the string through the loop, and it's going to make another loop. Inside that loop, if you've watched any of my videos before, I have a toggle. A toggle is just a stick that you're going to stick inside there just like that. And it's going to keep this from coming apart, and it's going to hold it all together. So we're going to take that end that we made, we're going to wrap it around the tree this way, about 6 foot tall or so. We're going to pull that string through our loop and create a marlinspike hitch, and we're going to put this toggle through that loop just like that. Now we can run this string all the way to the other tree. Now we're going to run this all the way to this other tree, and once we get our ridge line up, then we're going to come in and clear the vines out and everything and get it ready for our camping spot. So here we're going to do what's called a trucker's hitch. So we're going to pull this as tight as we can get it around this tree right here, about 6 foot, a little bit taller than me, right at my height. And we're going to come around here and do a trucker's hitch. Now doing a trucker's hitch is not really that complicated. What we're going to do is we're going to put our string around this tree like so, and move our string back up to 6 feet. Now what we're going to do is create a loop in our string right here to where we can use that loop to pry this as tight as we can get it. Now you want to hold the string in your hand like this. You want to twist it up and then back through here just like that. Now by doing that, you just made a secure loop inside your string, and now you want to put this string inside there, and then you could just tighten it down. Let me show you how to do that knot again. So you take your hand, you want to take your hand backwards and you want to twist it around like that. Then you want to take that loop and slide it through just like that, and you're going to create a loop right here. So now you're just going to feed this string the end through that loop, and you're going to pull this dude as tight as you can get it, and then it will cause this string right here where our ridge line is going to be extremely tight. Now once you get to the point where you got it as tight as you want, you just pinch it off right here to where it won't slip. And what you're going to do is you're going to make 2 slip knots. 1, 2, just like that, and it's going to keep it from slipping. Now whenever we're done, we're able to untie this, and we're going to save our cordage so we can use for something else. Now remember how I said keep them gloves nice and handy? They always come in use. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these vines down out of these trees. Now I just pull these dudes down. Fire tinder. We can start a fire with this. And also, all these sticks right here, even though they're dried and dead, all these old vines we can use as kindling to start our fire. We're going to need 3 more pieces of string here, and we're going to take them about 12 inches long or so, and then we're going to cut it. We're going to cut it with our trusty but not rusty knife, and then we're going to do another overhand loop knot just like that, and you've made a loop. Now what we're going to do with these loops, they're going to become prusik knots, and this is what we're going to use to secure our tarp to our ridge line. So in addition to the 3 loops that we have here that we're going to use to attach our tarp to our ridge line, we're going to need 3 toggles as well. So you're going to need 3 more sticks that you can use as a toggle. All right, so how you're going to make the prusik loop is you're going to take your little loop right there, and you're just going to loop it around 1, 2, 3. All right, and then you're going to pull it tight and make sure everything's on the outside, pulls together nice and neat like that, and it's going to resemble a little fist, a little monkey's fist right there, just like that. Okay, now when you have tension going this way, it's not going nowhere. This way, it's not going to go nowhere, but you could slide it up and down the ridge line however you want to slide it back and forth. But once you put tension on it, it's not going to go nowhere. All right, we need to repeat that process 2 more times. You're simply going to take one corner of your tarp, you're going to insert that prusik loop that we just did, and then you're going to take your toggle and insert your toggle into your loop. Now that's not going to go nowhere, and we can slide it wherever we want to slide it up and down this ridge line to make it tight. Let's do it on the other end. Now let's hang the one in the middle. We're all going to go the same direction. Just like that. Now we can pull it tight. Now if you notice what happened, it tightened up here in the middle. We put this up here, and then when we tightened up this side, it got real tight. We tightened up this side, it got real tight. Now this thing is nice and tight and stretched out along the ridge line here. So now all we got to do is just pull it back, stake it down, and we have our shelter. Once we get it all staked off, then we're going to clean it out, and then we're going to lay our bed pad down, and then we're going to go ahead and put the wool blanket down. Then we'll get started collecting some firewood. But first, before we do that, we're going to filter some water because it's starting to get thirsty. Now the 3x3 tarp comes with some included tent stakes. All we're going to do is stake out each corner and then in the middle, and we're going to do it in a lean-to fashion, and that's what we're going to use for the shelter. You just grab a corner of your tarp and you just pull it kind of tight. And do the same thing in the middle and do the same thing on the end. All right, so we're going to pull our end relatively tight and insert it in the ground, and then the middle here, and insert it into the ground. There we go. Now we have created a lean-to shelter, and we're going to put our bedding down back here, and then we're going to clean this out, and then we'll be able to cook and everything up front here, hang a lantern on the tree. But right now, let's go ahead and filter some of that water.